What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, and I'm here with
Gersh1.
And we have a lot to talk about on today's Q&A for the greater.
This is a video series where we answer the questions left by you, the viewer. If you have a question for us, simply comment down below. Put question in front of your question because we get those questions first. And that is what no one did. What we're going to do right now is just talk about the new models that were announced for Adepticon, which we missed again. It's right in our backyard, and we never
really?
go.
That was last.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I had no idea.
So the new models that are let's start off with the Codex.
Yes. A brand spanking new Space Marine Codex is here again.
Did we need it? No. Did anybody ask for it? No.
It's like, you know what? Xenos really needs some love. Let's give him an Imperial Codex.
Yeah. GW really knows how to get you guys to spend money. Well, us too, because we're going to end up buying it. Yeah. But now what's really exciting is that with this new Codex comes two, what do they call it?
Supplements. Yeah.
So it's the Ultramarine supplement
and the White Scars supplement, which I'm really excited for White Scars.
We talked about this way back. We thought it was going to be a full-fledged codex, but no, it's just like a supplement, probably that has to do with all those bikes, special squadrons, but more importantly, there's a new model.
Yes.
Do you know the name of the person?
He's a Khan, I know that for sure. But this new White Scar model is a Primaris. So that just goes to show you that Primaris is going to be the new thing for everything, no matter what.
Yeah, Corsaro Khan.
Oh, it actually is Corsaro
Yeah, Corsaro,
Khan?
Yep.
Okay.
So he looks really badass. He has his little sword, and he has his cybernetic eagle, which is probably what do they call it in 40K? It's not a familiar, right? Is it a familiar?
I don't think it is.
Well, either way, the model is awesome. Check it out. What's exciting about this whole thing? Well, let's before I get ahead of myself.
Yeah.
Ultramarines Codex probably has the rules for
Supplement Codex.
Supplement Codex has the new rules for Librarian.
Oh, Tiberos, I believe his name is.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Tigurius.
Yeah.
Which is badass because
he's a Primaris now.
He's a Primaris, but more importantly, I have a feeling, and we talked about this earlier. You mentioned that there's a video that was released in the Warhammer TV, and it's just the eye of the
like the psychic, astro-telepathica stuff.
Yeah, the novice novelite and all that kind of stuff, maybe. And you were saying that we're probably going to get brand new psychic disciplines, psychic powers within. Obviously, like the Ultramarines is going to be buffed. So that's exciting.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that's what it is. Even if it's not new stuff, if they bring the old psychic disciplines, like the geomancy and all that stuff, into 8th edition rules, that's going to be a lot more psychic powers to use and actually diversify, like from the standard 1 or 2 psychic disciplines that they have now.
What I see for the future is that the psychic phase is not going to be a phase that people look over anymore. It used to be really good. It was basically a whole extra shooting phase, so everybody wanted to play Psychers, but then in this edition, it's okay. It was cut down, like you said. A lot of the psychic disciplines were taken off and replaced with pretty standard stuff. But I bet you that now with these new, with this new announcement of the Astro-Telepathica, we're going to end up getting not just librarian psychic disciplines, and because even the White Scars had their own special psychic disciplines. We're probably going to get Imperial Guard, Skitarii, all these psychers for those different factions.
Right. Obviously, the Necrons won't have anything like this, or the Tau, because that's just how their race is. They're not psychically gifted.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's exciting, though, and going back to the Codex, it sucks that it was an Ultramarine Codex, and it's cool that it's a White Scars Codex. It would have been nice if it was a different chapter, like the Iron Hands, the Imperial Fist, something badass like that. But what these supplements do is it opens up for GW to create new supplements in the future for specific chapters, and throw in one extra special character. Hopefully we get a Primaris Lysander. For the Imperial Fist. That would be badass because he is a Terminator. So I want to see a Terminator style Primaris. That would be really cool.
Yeah. Speaking of different styled of Primaris things, they've got a new... it's not a Dreadnought. What would you call this?
Well, they call it the Invictor Tactical Warsuit. It basically looks like that machine in Alien, where the what's her name pilots it and like crushes the alien. What are they called? Yeah, whatever. It's
Xenomorph, whatever.
Xenomorph. There you go. That's what I was thinking.
When I first saw it, I didn't like it at all. I'm like, Primaris is supposed to be like the new wave of technology, and it looks like they're going back. Where like it's trying to be a Dreadnought, but Dreadnought holds a dying Space Marine, and this is just something you get in and pilot. It's kind of like Centurion armor, but for Dreadnoughts, which is weird.
Yep.
And it's just a regular Primaris that is inside of it, right? Like
yeah. The cockpit. Yeah, it's not a Dreadnought, so it's not a sarcophagus. It's just a piloted walker. Which,
if you're trying to convert it, it's really easy. Just don't assemble the middle part and just put like bars.
I wonder if, well, yeah, the weapon is a special weapon.
Yeah, the weapon is different, and they got like two weapons on their hips and like the one arm weapon.
Yeah, and then the new Rhino Primaris transport was also. What was that before? We had. Did we get that before?
They had one. I don't know if it was a Rhino
smaller
per
one.
se.
Yeah. So that's exciting. Yeah, it's, as far as oh, and then the other thing is the kill team.
Oh yeah, there's a new starter set focusing on the Tau and the Space Wolves going up against each other. So that's cool if you're into kill team.
Yeah.
And then on top of this, you also have the Warcry models from Age of Sigmar, I believe, or it might be a separate thing. But those are available too. And then the Necromunda Judicators, is that what they're called?
Yeah. They're kind of like the other branch of the...
they're like the police force.
Judge Dredd
guys, yeah.
But yeah, it's exciting news. It's Space Marine stuff.
Yeah. If you're a Space Marine player, all the power to you. But I mean, show some love for the Xenos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's move on to the questions. What do you got?
This one is by Robert Hasdowns Jr. Which army is worthy enough to be put on my resume so that my next interviewer sees that I'm suitable for the job?
That's a good question. I would say it depends on the edition, because like if you say if you are writing your resume and you say I specialized in Grey Knights in 6th edition, so did everyone else.
Exactly. Yeah.
But if you say I specialize in Grey Knights 7th edition, this current edition,
8th edition,
8th edition, sorry, then wow. Mm-hmm. Because an elite army in this edition sucks.
Yeah, you're gonna get overwhelmed by hordes of like greenskins and Tyranids and everything else. So, what would impress them nowadays? An orc player. Show them that you're not the overwhelming majority who plays Imperials and Space Marines. Show them you're a Xeno player who loves to get in there and say, "Here we come, boys."
Boys, boys, boys.
With a Z.
Next question comes from Brian B. Magnus has said he knows where Leman Russ is, but isn't telling. Where do you think he is? He's in the warp, and he is actually probably chasing some Dark Eldar, just like Jagatai Khan. It'll be cool if the Great Khan comes back with the Great Wolf, both of them riding on something. A Fenrisian wolf warped by the Materium, and then a bike that looks like, what's his name's bike? The dude with the flaming skull, what's his name?
From like Marvel?
Yeah.
Oh.
That guy.
That guy. Or maybe they're possessed by Slanesh and they're riding something else.
Whoa. Each other.
Whoa.
Next question.
Well, jumping off of that, what would you guys think if GW started putting out like one-offs, but focusing on what the Primarchs are actually doing in the warp?
Without without giving us models?
Yeah, like just stories. Like for a long time, like we don't know what Leman Russ has been up to. Maybe it's like, oh, here's like a short story, it's telling his adventures of him going to like a demon world and slaying something.
That's cool.
Because I mean, we're gonna wait years without not knowing what's happening to these guys. Like, would you want to know at least what they've been up to, even though you don't actually get like a model?
Yeah.
Because obviously when they get models is when they've come back from whatever they've been doing. So it's like we're skipping a huge portion of the lore and just jumping into them coming back to the forefront of the Imperium.
Maybe that's why they've taken so long to actually show, like bring back loyalist Primarchs, because they're scared of like, well, now we have to come up with all this lore of where they were at.
Mm-hmm.
They got lucky with Guilliman because Guilliman was in stasis, and it seems like the next Primarch to come back is Sanguinius. Another easy thing to say, like, well, he's been, in his fortress monastery the whole time.
Or you mean Lionel Johnson?
No, Sanguinius. Isn't Sanguinius in his fortress monastery? He's like in...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's not dead anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I guess the lion could be the same, right? He's just been trapped.
In the rock.
Yeah, in the rock. But, yeah. It would be really cool to get, like, comic books or some type of animated series, or even just a small blurb in, like, one of the White Dwarves explaining a battle.
Yeah.
But what do you guys think, like you said? Next question comes from Timothy Armstrong. Who are the Chaos Knights and the Imperial Knights? Well, the Imperial Knights are just... how do you explain them? It's a house that was created during the Dark Age of Technology.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, that... and they're basically just defending a world. Usually that world is like a feudal world. And then the Chaos Knights are those knights, those knightly houses that were corrupted by chaos.
Think of regular knights from medieval time, but thrown into the future, and instead of like riding horses, they wield giant robots.
Yeah, basically. Next question.
This one's by Ryan Setzler. Do you think that Sanguinius could return as something akin to a saint, or maybe a member of the Legion of the Damned?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a huge possibility. But I mean, if he returns as a saint, I mean, he's already got the wings. Like, he's already like a holy figure in that aspect. But it'd be pretty badass if he was like a Legion of the Damned, because they have like bones on their armor and they're on fire. So that'd look really cool.
Yeah, it would be cool if he came back and he was ominous. Like, he wasn't like Guilliman, where Guilliman was like, the Indominus Crusade, the Ultramark Crusade, all that kind of stuff. If he just came back and he was just like a silent, like, this is like my blood angels need my help, I'm gonna focus on my blood angels, I'm not even gonna talk to Guilliman, I'm not even gonna talk to the Imperium, I'm gonna do my own thing. That'd be kind of cool.
Right, but at the same time though, like Dante is right under Guilliman in terms of like
hierarchy. Yeah, it would be like a nice little schism within the Blood Angels, because it's like, oh shit, Sanguinius is back. Wait, but Dante's telling me like to follow this, and it'd be cool.
What do they do?
Next question, and this will be the last question, comes from The Camel. Have you guys listened to the D&D style 40k game called Adventures of an All-Guardsman Party? No. So, we are familiar with Dark Heresy, and Dark Heresy was basically 40k's version of D&D. The thing that I find really annoying about 40k, or the Dark Heresy, is that you have to play human. The fun part about D&D is you get to play. If you want to play as a dragon, you can play as a dragon. You can play as a giant. You can play as an assortment of really badass characters and races. And 40k is filled with that. But instead, Dark Heresy says, no, you have to be an acolyte of the Inquisition. So you have to be in this super oppressive society. That just doesn't seem fun. So I haven't heard of this, but I mean, if they're all guardsmen,
that's you're still a human.
Yeah. But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And those were the questions for today. If you guys have more questions for us, comment down below.
Let us know what you think about the new models, the more love that GW has for the Imperium, and what you guys want to see with these new supplements that have been coming out. Imperial or Ultramarines, White Scars. What's next?
This is Gershwin,
Sound Alchemist, and we are out.
Always used to put my freedom first, and then